you're watching Alexa from stealing-beauty.com, and today I'm here barefaced because I'm about to test out the Beauty Blender and put it to the test against the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. Now, I know that there are a lot of these reviews up, but when I showed you guys this and when I suggested doing this video, a few of you said you'd be interested in seeing it. The color is different. That's really irrelevant though. The next thing that's different about them is the shape. Here we have the Beauty Blender and here we have the Real Techniques. Pretty different, as you can see. These are both dry right now. This basically looks like a football that's been sliced, and this looks like a very pointy topped egg. The sponges don't feel the same. When you press this one, it takes time, more time for it to come back to its original shape. So it's more like a memory foam mattress, if you will. Whereas this one, this one comes back a lot to shape much faster. You'll definitely feel more resistance with the Real Techniques sponge when you squish it. And let's see if that's the case after we wet them, because these are both dry. I'm back now and I have both of the sponges soaked and drained, and as you can see, they are both humongous. But I will have to say, again, this one, it was harder to squish the water out. I actually still feel a bit more liquid in this one than I do in this one. This one is lighter and this one is a tad heavier. It seems like this one's a little bit bigger. And the texture of the sponge itself is different. This one feels more memory foamy, kind of more... I just look so weird in the viewfinder just touching it like this, but it actually just feels more smooth to the touch, whereas this one feels more porous, but in no way does it feel rough. Anyways, let's get to the test. I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Foundation because that's what I've been using lately, and I will be using the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer for the under eye area. I'm going to dot this all over my face. I always start by my cheeks because that's where my breakouts are, and then just drag it a bit on my forehead, take a bit more. Okay, let's just start off with what I have going on right now, and I'm going to take the Beauty Blender for this side of my face. And I just realized it wasn't a good idea for me to do it like this, because then it might be unfair if I let this side dry, so let's do this. No, I'm just joking, but that just seems crazy. It's just weird doing this with my left hand. Can you tell I'm right-handed? So that's also unfair. Oh my god, what am I doing? I feel like crazy right now. I think I'm going to go in with some more, and this time I've learned my lesson. I'm just going to dot one side of my face, go in with the Beauty Blender, and then dot the other side of my face and go in with the Miracle Complexion Sponge. Here's the result that I get with the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, and here are the results that I get with the Beauty Blender. I find it was a little bit faster to blend the side. I don't know if it's because I put a little bit less foundation, because this sucker here takes a crap load of foundation and actually needs more concealing. Then this side had just, you know, that little imperfection and then a couple of spots here, but nothing too nothing as violent as this guy. I liked that both of them had a point. It made it really handy to do the under eye area. Of course, the inner corner is always difficult, but you definitely gotta pounce that blender in your eye. I'm going to move on to the rest of my foundation and come back to you in a second. To be really honest, in terms of performance, the performance is pretty much almost the same. I get the exact same result. The only thing that I really notice a huge difference in is that this one is heavier. It takes longer to squish down. There's more resistance, more push. It's got that more memory foam type of feeling to it. It does retain more water because I can still feel that this one is more damp than the Beauty Blender. And the Beauty Blender is more porous. The water squishes through it easier. It actually washes a lot easier than the Real Techniques. One thing I like about the Real Techniques is that flat edge as opposed to the Beauty Blender, which you can see has a rounded bottom. Now the rounded bottom and the flat edge of the Real Techniques actually perform in pretty much the same way, except that I feel the Real Techniques covers a larger area of skin. So when you are pressing in that foundation, it just means you're pressing it in for that much less time. Whereas the Beauty Blender, as you can see, it hits a smaller amount of space. This point, it comes to a more fine tip, but it isn't as tapered as the Beauty Blender. So maybe actually the Beauty Blender's tip is better because it just fits better underneath the eye area, just very slightly though. It's really not worth the difference in price in my opinion. I think that if you're really concerned about price, get a Real Techniques sponge. You might find it useful to have a Real Techniques sponge in your stash for whenever your Beauty Blender is dirty and you don't have time to wash it type of thing. I'm pretty happy I have both. I'm pretty happy I tested these out and I'm glad that they're so comparable. Again, definitely there are pros and cons to each and it's very much each to their own, whether you have access to both or not, or whether you have the means to get both or just one. I hope that you guys found that this review was helpful. Please let me know in the comments down below if you've tried them and what you think of them, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!